Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Gatorade Duels at Daytona. Today we're getting ready for both the duels to be run here in one video. They're going to be two 10-lap events, and this is basically how it's going to go down. The drivers are going to start here in Gatorade Duel number 1. Will be starting on the inside row of the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Drivers who will be in Gatorade Duel number 2 will start on the outside row of the Daytona 500. However, keep in mind, if any driver wrecks during the course of this or the second Gatorade Duel, they will have to go to a backup car and they will start at the rear of the field. Now, the way that I ended up coming up with who's going to be in the duel number 1, who's going to be coming up in the duel number 2, I basically went every other driver. So you're going to see Trent Dunham, is going to be here in Division 1 because he's driving the 1. The 2 car of Dylan Young, he'll be in Gatorade Duel number 2. Next car in line would be the 4 of Mary Cole. She's in Division 1. And the 5 of Amelia Navarrete is in Gatorade Duel number 2. So that's how I ended up coming about it. Instead of going to random.org and wasting time doing a random draw, that's basically how I did it. So, on the point for today's race is Alex DeMarco. Alongside of him is going to be George Roque, Pichu London, and rookie Mary Cole. They make up row number 2. These guys, basically, they want to win this race because if they can win this race, they're going to start on the pole for the Daytona 500. Whoever finishes in second place today is going to start third. Whoever finishes in third place will start in the final spot in the top 5 for the Daytona 500. Who is it going to be? That's the big question. We're going to find that out at the end of 10 laps of racing. Basically, if these guys can't win the race, they want to keep their car in one piece so they don't have to go to a backup car and be at the rear of the field for the Daytona 500. So, as these cars will roll off, we've gotten the command to fire up the engines. We'll step aside for just a moment and show you today's starting grid. Look at your starting grid for today's race. We've got 21 drivers in this field and 21 drivers in Gatorade Duel number 2. I guess you could basically say it's almost like having the Bud Shootout again, except we don't have the same drivers in this field, but it's about the same size. We had 20 drivers in the Bud Shootout, and we have 21 here in this Gatorade Duel. A few drivers I think we're going to have to keep an eye on during the course of today that have really good numbers here at Daytona International Speedway. How about Trent Whitney starting off there in the 5th position? He ended up winning the Season 3 Daytona 500 when he drove the number 46. Another driver back there I think we should keep an eye on is Trent Dunham. Last time we were here at Daytona last season, he ended up going 2 for 3 with a Mobile 1 and Snickers Cup Series victory. And then also back there you've got Anthony McCrory. He's got great numbers here at this track. We'll see how he does here as they're getting ready to go under the green flag. Alex DeMarco going to put us under the green. 10 laps of racing. Cautions will count. And we'll see who's going to be around here at the end to try and take the pole position here for the Daytona 500. Pichu London's thinking about the lead right off the bat. Here he comes to the inside. Big run for the 26. He's got drafting help. That's in the form of Trent Whitney. And it also looks like that's the 42. I think that's the 42 car of John Cittadino. Yes, it is. That's the Target Chevrolet from Earhart Ganassi. And he's going to look to the inside line now. So they're going to try and go 3 wide. Ford the lead. Cittadino's going to get the help from Tryfon Reed. And the rookie's going to go to the front. John Cittadino was a championship contender last season. in the Oreo Truck Series. He's making his debut here in the Snickers Cup Series, and now he's about to get a challenge from Tryfon Reed in the 13. Reed's going to get that top spot. He's got Joshua Michaels just behind him, then Anthony McCrory. And then Michael Norman in the 88. There's been a lot of talk about Michael Norman moving over to Hendrick Motorsports. Coming into this season, he is a two-time Snickers Cup Series winner when he was racing half the season with Joe Gibbs Racing in Season 4. A lot of people are looking at him to be a championship contender this season and wondering if he's going to be able to continue with the same kind of momentum he had in Season 4. Here now with the powerhouse of Hendrick Motorsports, as Joshua Michaels will now go to the lead. Help from Anthony McCrory, but now McCrory and Michael Norman are going to work together down low, along with Jake Cole in the 44. That 44 car out of the Michael Waltrip Racing Stables, and they're going to go 3 wide for the lead again. This time it's going to be the inside line with Michael Norman going to the inside. He will take that spot. He's got a teammate coming up here too, Aaron Williams Jr., who actually started at the back of the pack for this event. Now, speaking of teammates, I think I'm seeing some other teammates working there. Well, I thought I did. No, I guess not. So we got Norman here, we got Aaron Williams Jr., we got Kyle Sosnowski now, another Hendrick car up here. Now, Sosnowski's got a pretty good numbers this season anyway. He ended up finishing second to Sean Henley in the Budweiser Shootout, so maybe that 48's got some speed. Kyle Sosnowski still in search for his first career Snickers Cup Series victory, and now Aaron Williams Jr. is going to lead the field. This is the second backup, or the first backup car that Aaron Williams Jr. had to bring to this track, as he ended up wrecking in the Budweiser Shootout. And now, oh, wait a minute. Whoa! Close contact there between Cole Daly and Kyle Sosnowski, and Sosnowski somehow was able to get down to the inside of Cole Daly, and he will take the top spot. Here comes Austin Ogo in the 83. A lot of people wondering what's going to go on over there at Burger King Racing, a 2-car team with rookie Austin Ogo and the Season 1 Oreo Truck Series champion Jake Rogers. And here comes a guy I'm really going to be looking at to possibly battle for Rookie of the Year this season. That's James Silverfox, who made history last season in the Mobile Cup Series as the only 3-time winner in that series. He now makes his move over here to the Snickers Cup Series full-time in his full rookie season, and he is out in front right now, but he's about to get a challenge from another rookie who will be trying to battle him for that Rookie of the Year title, and that is a car out of Tweenix Racing, and that is Mary Cole in the 4. Mary Cole's numbers last season, when she raced the last few races of Season 4 in the Snickers Cup Series, were anything less than good. And, oh boy, here comes George Roque down to the inside. Now, Roque did a good job, along with Alex DeMarco. Both of them, remember, started on the front row. They fell to the back. The two of them have found each other again and are working their way back up. They now run 1 and 2 once more. And we are still Green Flag Racing, which is having this race wind down awfully quickly here as DeMarco goes back to the inside. When we come around this time, we hit the stripe. We're going to have a total of 4 laps remaining in today's event. These drivers have been racing 3x3x3 all race long, but the good news is they've kept it together and not wrecked each other. Here comes Pichu London. He had some drafting help there from his teammate Jacob Lawler, but Lawler's now going to kick Pichu London to the curb, and he's going to try to go to the front. Help from Trent Dunham. Trent Dunham a little bit more lenient to draft with the 15 this season because it's not being driven by Tim Walsh. Both he and Walsh, don't forget, were battling for the championship last season, but Sean Henley was able to sneak in and take it. John Cittadino now going to go to the inside. I thought we'd see teammates working more here, but we saw Jacob Lawler leave Pichu London out to dry, and now we just saw John Cittadino move past his teammate Trent Dunham. So maybe teammates are not all they're cracked up to be, at least here, when a spot in the Daytona 500, a good starting spot, is on the line. Now Trent Whitney going to go down to the inside line. Second season that he's returned here to the number 98 out of Phil Parsons Racing. He's got Tryfon Reed right behind. Tryfon Reed, I'll tell you what, he has had a really good speed week so far. Had a great run in the Budweiser Shootout, and he's running up front right now, too, trying to draft with fellow Ford Trent Whitney. Oh, man, he tried to throw the block on Joshua Michaels, and Michaels was there. That was close. That could have been a huge wreck right there, and I think that's the last thing any of these drivers would want to have happen. Michaels side by side there with Tryfon Reed. Now Anthony McCurry going to make it 3 wide for second. That's allowing Trent Whitney to stay out in front with 2 laps to go here in our first of 2 Gatorade Duels. Look at the speeds here. We're just over 200 miles per hour. This is great racing. Anthony McCurry now is taking second. Sean Galligan now into third. We haven't talked about him all day. Number 21 looking pretty doggone racy right there. And Michael Norman in the 88 has found drafting help in the form of his teammate Aaron Williams Jr. They're working their way back up to the front here. But I think now Michael Norman's going to get moved into the middle. It's going to be Hendrick Motorsports still down there, though. Aaron Williams Jr., he's got his teammate Kyle Sosnowski right there. Barney Ward in the inside line as well. We're coming down to the white flag. It's McCurry. Then Aaron Williams Jr. side by side with Trent Whitney for second. But here comes Aaron Williams Jr. Aaron Williams Jr. down to the inside line, looking for the top spot. Sosnowski with the drafting help. Oh, he moves him up. They're going to go 4 wide. Watch out. They're 4 wide at Daytona. Contact. They touch. They touch. They touch here in the turn. Sosnowski into Williams Jr. And Aaron Williams Jr. is spun. Caution. Oh, no. The big one is struck here in a Gatorade duel. McCurry's in it. Dunham's in it. Whitney, DeMarco, Roque. As well as the guy who is leading us to our white flag lap. And who is the leader? I think it was Sosnowski. Yes, it is. Kyle Sosnowski is the leader. Barney Ward is second. James Silverfox now third. Coming out at turn 4 for the final time. They'll get the checker flag and the caution flag at the same time. But Kyle Sosnowski wins Gatorade Duel number 1. He will start on the pole for the Daytona 500. It was Sosnowski, Ward, Silverfox, Cole Daly, and Mary Cole completed the top 5 with Austin Ogo in 6th. But Kyle Sosnowski just took out his own teammate in order to get the pole position for the Daytona 500. They went 4 wide. Sosnowski turned Aaron Williams Jr. up the racetrack and into the outside retaining wall, and there were about a dozen other cars that got involved in that. There were only 6 cars here in this front pack that made it down to the stripe. There may have been some stragglers further back, but if that's the case, of those 6 cars, the only ones who got through, that would mean that a total of 15 cars were involved in that wreck. Fact remains, though, Kyle Sosnowski is the winner of the first Gatorade Duel, and he will start on the pole for the Daytona 500, but you gotta wonder if the powerhouse of Hendrick Motorsports, if there may be some ripples there. Not exactly sure if Sosnowski meant to turn Aaron Williams Jr. there or not. There's going to have to be some questions answered, no doubt about that. Sosnowski, pretty good numbers so far, though, in Speed Weeks. Second in the Bud Shootout. Now he's going to be starting on the pole for the Daytona 500 after winning Gatorade Duel number 1. Congratulations to him. They're going to have a few cars. They're going to have to go to backup cars, though, too. So we'll have to look. If any driver in the finishing order has the word retired after them, they will be going to a backup car and having to start at the rear of the field for the Great American Race. So we will step aside for a quick moment. We will show you your finishing results for this first Gatorade Duel. Then we will take a quick commercial break from our sponsor and come right back for the second Gatorade Duel here at Daytona.
Is your character still alive?
Yeah.
Oh, he lagged out! Typical black guy lagging out. Well,
There's no click.
Hey, Matt, it'd be a perfect time to advertise Fun Dip while we have the break.
Sean just kind of peeks out.
Plug up your nostrils for months.
And welcome back to the Gatorade Duels at Daytona. We just finished up our first Gatorade Duel. We know that Kyle Sosnowski, the winner of our first Gatorade Duel, will start on the pole for the Daytona 500. The question is, though, who's going to start alongside him on the outside of the front row for the Great American Race? We've got the second Gatorade Duel field out here on pit road. They are awaiting the command to fire those engines up so they can get to racing for 10 laps and see who will start where in the Daytona 500. On the pole for this race is going to be rookie Widos Avotas for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's going to be making his debut here in the Snickers Cup Series today. Alongside of him, yet another rookie. That is Zach Campbell, driving the number 9 for Everham Motorsports. Guess there's a bit of speed there or something with these Everham Dodges. His teammate Alex DeMarco started on the pole for our first Gatorade Duel. Wider Savota's going to be a little bit happy about the qualifying results because he's got a teammate starting behind him there in the 11. That is Hayden Klein, also a rookie this season. And alongside of him, we got a veteran, and that is Matthew Rodriguez in the number 14 for Stuart Haas Racing. All right, well, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get these cars rolling off. The command fire of the engines has been given, so we'll step aside one more time and show you your starting grid for your second Gatorade Duel today here at Daytona. Alright, that's your starting grid for the second Gatorade Duel today. And I'm not really sure. It's almost looking like we're not seeing a lot of alliances between teammates here, at least in this race here today. So, you know, the fact that Wider Savotas and Hayden Klein are starting nose to tail for this race isn't going to really mean much, I don't think. It almost seems like it's an every man for himself mentality here. They may get into racing with their teammates once the 500 comes around, but right now it seems like they're willing to dissolve an alliance with a teammate in order to get an extra position in order to start further up at the front of the field for the Daytona 500. But we got all three of the Joe Gibbs racing cars in this field. You got a Votas, Klein, and you've also got Charles Jackson starting back there in 10th place. You got a lot of the Tweenix cars in this field with James McLeod rather, Dylan Poteet, and Sean Henley. On the flip side, Emilio Navritz, the lone Hendrick car today, as the green flag comes out. All his other three teammates were in the Division 1 race. Navritz going to have to go it alone, find his partners where he can. Wider Savotas, nice move right there. He moved up to the high side to block the advances, now moves down across the nose of his teammate. Wider Savotas, let's not forget, Wider Savotas is not completely new to the NNSCRA. He raced last season in the Mobile Cup Series and finished very well too, but he's about to get past here. The veteran's saying, hey rookies, let me show you how it's done. Matthew Rodriguez, two-time NNSCRA champion. He will go to the inside line and he will try and take the top spot coming out of turn number 4. He will do so. Little bit of help there from Rohit Vidaravu, our rookie winner of the Truck Series last season. Vidaravu winning Rookie of the Year, now moving over to the RCR stables full-time. He drove for Nemco Motorsports last season. He ended up picking up a victory there. Now Richard Johnson looks down to the inside line. He will take top spot. Richard Johnson trying to get a little bit of revenge from the Bud Shootout where he started on the pole but finished dead last. He wants to start real well here in the Daytona 500 and he's about to get a challenge. Oh wow, nice block there by Richard Johnson, blocking the advances of Adam Chambers. Now he's got Jordan Davis coming up on the inside line there. That's 16. He's got help from Charles Jackson. Jackson ended up finishing 3rd in the Bud Shootout. That's probably the same car he raced in the Shootout, and it's looking pretty racy right now. He's getting some help from Danny Wells there in the 31. Meanwhile, battle on for the lead. Here comes Jordan Davis looking at the inside line. He'll try and take the top spot. Meanwhile, further back, you've got the 93, sponsored by G-Oil here this race weekend. That is Jake Rogers, and right behind him, Tim Walsh. Still with Michael Waltrip Racing, but in the 56 this season. Big run there for that 93 car, and Jake Rogers will take the lead. help from fellow Toyota Tim Walsh. Then right behind them, it's the Mechanic Square Ford of Ron Fajara Jr. Now, for those of you that don't remember, Fajara Jr. actually had some really good runs last season. He ran, I think it was the last 5 races of the season in the 47 for JTG Daughtery Racing. And now he's over in a full-time ride, driving in the 22 for Roger Penske. As now Sean Henley's going to move up here, and he's got some drafting help. It's his teammate from Tweenix Racing. That's James McLeod in the 51. So the 25 and the 51 working together right now. Oh, wait a minute, though. They're going to go 3 wide for the lead, it looks like here. McLeod's got drafting help now from Callum Wales, and he's going to go to the front, leaving Henley out to dry. Henley, the Bud Shootout winner. And I believe Henley ended up starting dead last in this field, so it didn't take him long to get up to the front of the field here. McLeod going to come down. He's going to lead a lap here, and he's about to get a challenge pretty soon here from the 99. That is Eric Burton. And look who he's got behind him. That's Dylan Poteet in the 78. So we're seeing all 3 of the Tweenix Racing cars all of a sudden up here at the front. We saw Henley up there. McLeod's leading this race, and Poteet now is taking the second position away. It's actually the Dylans working together there. Poteet in the 78 and Dylan Young, now the new driver for Roger Penske Racing, as he is there in the Blue Deuce. Well, we're seeing the teammates starting to work together here, at least in this division. We saw Henley and McLeod working together, and now I'm seeing that Hayden Klein and Whitus Avotas, they've found each other again there on that inside line. They're in reversed roles now, though, with Hayden Klein being the push-E and Whitus Avotas being the push-er. As now Dylan Young's going to dive down to the inside. He'll look for the top spot. Whitus Avotas now leaves his teammate out to dry. He will come up on the back bumper of the Miller Lite Ford, and he will draft him to the front. Took them until the final lap to have our only caution of Gatorade Duel number 1. Will we have similar circumstances here in Gatorade Duel number 2? Because we are already on lap number 6, coming around to get lap number 7, and no yellow flag yet. Meanwhile, Matthew Rodriguez. It's a typical season starting thing that we commentators go through. We see these rides from last season, and we think that the driver from last season's still in that ride, and it's not the case. So if I make those kind of mistakes, folks, I hope you'll bear with me. Whitus Avotas now to the lead. Second place now is going to be Rohit Vedarvu, with Charles Jackson now moving into third place. Vedarvu, I'll tell you what, a lot of people are wondering how that 27 car is going to do, because back in Season 3, I believe it was Season 3. No, it wasn't. It was Season 2. Adam Chambers ended up winning the championship, driving in that number 27 for RCR. Then he moved over still to the 27 in Season 4, or Season 3 rather. Didn't exactly have the best of luck. Moved out of that ride. Season 4, it was a mix between Alexander Jones and I believe Tony Vendetta was in that ride for a while. That ride was kind of shuffled around. So in the last 2 seasons, the 27 has not exactly had the best numbers. And so a lot of people are wondering if Rohit Vedarvu can kind of rejuvenate that 27 team. As Richard Johnson now dives down to the inside of fellow Toyota Whitus Avotas. Kind of ironic here. You got the 47 alongside the light green Interstate Batteries Toyota. If you took those 2 cars and morphed them together, you'd have Richard Johnson's Budweiser Shootout cars. He drove the Interstate Batteries colors there in that night race. Well, here's a driver we haven't talked about all day long, but he ended up coming away with a top 10 finish in the shootout, and he's a single-car race team here this season. That's Ralph Mason for Nemco Motorsports in the 87. All of a sudden, he's up here in the closing stages, as when we come around next time by, it will be the white flag displayed, and here comes Adam Chambers down to the inside. Chambers, I guess you could say the veteran for Ray Abraham Motorsports this season in the 43s. He's got rookies Alex DeMarco and Zach Campbell driving with him in that 3-car team. White flag in the air. Here we go. Chambers is the leader, but here comes Tim Walsh to the inside. But wait a minute. Here comes Ron Fajara Jr. looking even lower there in the 22. He's got drafting help. That's in the form of Sean Henley, our Bud Shootout winner. Then Emilio Navarrete is there as well in the 5, and then is Callum Wales in the 39. Ron Fajardo Jr., though, he's the leader. Can he throw the block on Sean Henley here? Here comes Henley. Look at the inside. Henley's got the inside advantage. Henley out of turn number 4. Now he's got Navarrete. Can Navarrete make any move here in the Farmers Insurance Chevy? Out of turn 4 for the final time. Here comes Emilio Navarrete. Drafting help from Callum Wales. It'll be a drag race to the line. Henley throws the block. Sean Henley is 2 for 3 here this race weekend. He wins Gatorade Duel number 2. He won the Budweiser Shootout. He now wins the Gatorade Duel number 2 to start on the outside of the front row for the Daytona 500. Henley almost kind of doing what Kevin Harvick did at Daytona here in 2013. But the question is, can Henley pick up the slack where Harvick fell short? And can he go for the weekend sweep, winning the Budweiser Shootout, the Gatorade Duel, and the Daytona 500 all in one race weekend? Boy, I'll tell you what, Sean Henley, he has not missed a step. Wow, oh man, they're awfully congested heading down pit road there. But Henley has not missed a step at all ever since winning the championship in Season 4. Tell you what, right now he is just taking names. He is letting everybody know, hey, you're going to take the championship from me, you're going to have to do it while I'm on my A game. Henley just absolutely dominating here at Daytona. And how ironic is this, folks? Listen to this. Henley ended up winning the Budweiser Shootout. Who finished behind him in second? It was Kyle Sosnowski. Those two will start on the front row for the Daytona 500 with Sosnowski on the pole and Henley in second place. The good news for all these drivers in Gatorade Duel number 2, nobody wrecked, nobody had any mechanical failures, no one will have to go to a backup car. So that's good news for them. And this is also going to allow them to move up a few spots, I think, in the running order for the Daytona 500 too, due to the fact that a few drivers did have to go to backup cars after that wreck in Gatorade Duel number 1. So, folks, we finally know who's going to start where for the Daytona 500. Hope you will be tuning in for that. But before we get to that, we will be having our Truck and Mobile One Cup Series races here at Daytona International Speedway. Our first points races there. And then we will cap this weekend off with the running of the Great American Race. Congratulations to Kyle Sosnowski on winning Gatorade Duel number 1. Congratulations to Sean Henley on winning Gatorade Duel number 2. They'll start on the outside, or they'll start on the front row rather, for the Daytona 500. Hope you guys enjoyed today's races. If you did, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become a part of the crew today. And we'll see you guys next time here on the NNSCRA Sports Channel, offline racing at its best.